Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm going to start up a YouTube channel along my car. Not just mine, but something that I'll do with my friends and whatnot. This is mine as of right now. I'm putting a new clutch in it. It's a 2008 Civic Si. It's the two-door, obviously. FG2 is the body code. It's in pieces right now because I'm changing the clutch, like I said before. You can see the transmission's right over here. The new clutches just got in, some Action Clutch. They're California-based. Good guys. That's who I had before, but I had a mishap with them, but they cleared everything up, so I'm definitely going to be working with them again. Not that I'm sponsored or anything, but they're definitely a good brand to go to if you're on the fence between something like Competition or Clutch Masters. Right now I'm putting the flywheel in over here. It'll be a little dark. Putting in the flywheel, and I need to just put some thread locker on and whatnot. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a walkthrough of putting the transmission back in. So I'm just putting a little bit of Loctite on these threads just to make sure, keep them nice and tight. Nothing crazy because I do not want to have to use anything ridiculous to get this back off next time I decide to change my clutch. So just a quick update, I got the flywheel on, all the bolts are torqued, I have the pressure plate on and the clutch is obviously sandwiched in between. I just have to torque those down and then this is basically done. The next step to do is to clean the transmission because there's a lot of crap in it, and then put the transmission back up and just put everything back together, just backwards of how I took it apart. So it's a couple days later, the transmission's officially back in the car. I'm not really sure where I left off last time because my battery died, but the transmission is in. I have all the bolts torqued down that go to the actual transmission itself. The only thing I really have to do now is some of the stuff up top, like the shifter bushings, putting that on, the cables, and putting everything back that's over here, like my charge pipes, the battery, and whatnot. Put the axles back in and put the subframe back on, which is still sitting over there. So for the most part, the hard part of the job is done, and my dog's eating one of my plastic bags. So I will keep you guys updated when I continue to work on it. Hey guys, so since the last clip you saw, it's now tomorrow. It's snowing right now, so if you hear some weird noise in the background, it's the sleet coming down. But I was looking through some of the videos that I edited and realized that some of the videos, the audio didn't come through because I was using this lapel mic right here, and for some reason the audio never picked up. So I'll have to figure that one out before I do it next time, but I kind of missed the overview of my car in general. So if some of you are keen enough, you might have seen this massive intercooler on the front of my car and realized that that's not the AC condenser and that these are not for the regular intake. So I did mention charge pipes in one of the clips before, so you might have an idea that this car is turboed. It obviously doesn't come turbo from the factory. The 2008 Civic is a naturally aspirated K20 Z3. I bought the PRL turbo kit. I bought that about a year ago and installed it last year. You guys can see the progress of that install and everything else on my Instagram. the same name as this channel, Hollister Garage. So if you look under the car, this is a back-mounted turbo. So right here is the precision turbo, 58 millimeter. It's a 58-58, both sides are the same size. Got a turbo blanket on the hot side, which drastically helps with heat management. And that's obviously the turbine side of the turbo. Over here we got the wastegate. This is the dump pipe for the wastegate. Everything's kind of tucked up behind the engine bay, so it's not like one of those pretty engine bay turbos that come out around the side, but it still gets the job done. It makes 570 on E85 at 17 psi, and it makes 467 on 93 at 14 psi. And I'll show you some other stuff done to the car. It's not just all power. It is more of a track and autocross setup. That was the original build before I turboed it, and then I just so happened to add an extra almost 300 horsepower to it just by putting a turbo on. In the background I have my heater going if you hear that, but I just wanted to show you the interior of this car right now. It's kind of in pieces. I've been taking things out. I'm missing my shifter, stuff like that. But right here we have my seat. It's a Pro Car by Scat seat. It's their drifter seat. It's a great seat. It was really cheap. It's really high quality. I still have the passenger seat as stock, and you could probably see that I have these G-force harnesses. They're 6-point. I got the 2 down here, the 2 lap belts, and then the 2 shoulder belts. It's also attached to this auto power roll bar. It's a 4-point. It goes down in these corners, and then in the back it goes to the wheel wells. You can also see that I don't have any back seats. I stripped out the back, and no one else really gets in the car aside from me and one other person. The most recent mod that I've done was this steering wheel. It's from D&D Performance. This is their racing wheel. It's the deepest dish that they have. I kind of like when the steering wheel's in your chest a little bit more. I did end up hooking it up so the horn works, but I don't have a battery in, so it obviously won't be working. And it's with a quick release from NRG. Right here I have my Innovate boost and air fuel ratio gauge. It's 2-in-1. I kind of don't like when you have too many gauges. It kind of looks tacky, and the car is kind of a sleeper, so I don't want it to be too obvious if you look inside. And right here is my low boost switch, so I can turn the boost by gear on and off, so that way I can run my full 17 psi in 4th gear, or I just run the wastegate pressure in every single gear and make less power, but it's a little bit better for something like a smaller track or an autocross. I do have some other stuff coming for the interior, and you guys will be getting a video of that pretty shortly. So stay tuned for that, and definitely look out for another video. Big news, and I'm actually really excited for what is coming. Car is still in pieces. I'm going to work on it a little bit more today. I'm going to be working more on the top of the transmission today. I'm going to be putting the shifter bushings and cables back on. I'm going to be torquing down the transmission mount, putting the intake and everything back together, the axles, the subframe, everything like that.